Bully Nerd here. I'm back to do a review for Gears of War 4. Just came out like 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. And I actually got the Ultimate Edition. Came with the Season Pass and a bunch of cool DLC.
Burn, baby! Burn, bitch!
I cover the campaign, the survival mode called Horde 3.0, and multiplayer, and all the new additions, features, game modes, weapons, and pretty much everything about the game that's new to the series. So to start with, the synopsis of the story stars three new protagonists: J.D. Phoenix, son of Marcus Phoenix, and his two best friends, Kate Diaz and Delmont Walker. The story is set 25 years after the events of Gears of War 3, and J.D. Phoenix is a member of the Outsiders, which is a group of like runaways from the COG that left the COG to start their own settlement, and group of people like survivors that don't agree with the COG's new totalitarian rule by the new leader, Jin. She's kind of a bitch, and she died. Her running gag in the thing is like she dies all the time as a robot. She dies, and it's pretty funny actually. But anyway, so basically the main plot of the story is JD, Kate, and Del set out on like a journey to find Kate's mother, who disappears. She gets kidnapped, and they go and try to find her while seeking the aid of Marcus, who helps them for a good part of the story. And that's pretty much it for that. There's two new types of enemies in the game: the Swarm and DV robots, which are robots made by Baird that the COG, First Minister Jin uses for like at first security detail, and now they're more like a military kind of faction, but they're all robots, and Jin mass produced them to basically like total police control over the COG settlements, without Baird's permission, of course. Next, I want to talk about the new weapons that are on all the game modes. There's the drop shot, which is really cool. It fires an explosive like shell that fires in a straight line above an opponent and then drops down, and it can also you also get a headshot that like goes through and explodes them from the inside out, which is really cool, and it's also a ribbon you could get. There's the buzzkill, which is it's also a heavy weapon. You can carry it. It shoots saw blades that you can ricochet off of walls and get really cool kills with. There's the M-bar, which is a DB sniper rifle. It's a charge shot sniper. It doesn't have a scope, but it's really cool to use. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's cool when you get to use it. Cool, good. Then the Enforcer, DB weapon. It's like an SMG. It has a high fire rate, not that good accuracy, but it's pretty good on downing people pretty quickly, especially with an active reload. Also, old weapons also return. The Lancer Hammer Burst, which is just a burst fire now. It's not like it was in Gears of War 3, where it was semi-automatic. Fires as fast as you pull the trigger. But you can also, it's a burst fire, but it's pretty powerful this time around. And I'm actually glad they brought it back to the traditional burst fire. Boltock's back with this. It has a different reticule, but it's just as strong. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to the new aiming reticule, but otherwise it still is awesome. The Torque Bow's back. Boom Shot. Retro Lancer's back, which I love. It's really strong. It's actually a lot more accurate in this game. It was crazy inaccurate in Gears of War 3. It could down people really fast at close range, but that's about it. Snub pistols. Inks are not in the game, which kind of sucks because they were helpful in multiplayer in the other ones, Gears 2 and 3, but there's no Cantuses in Gears of War 4, so because the new enemies, the Swarm, but that's the majority of all the weapons. There's also new turret emplacement weapons that are dropped by enemies called Sentinels, which are like these flying like sentry things, DB sentries, and they either drop tri-shot, which is a three-barreled rotating machine gun turret. It's really strong. It fires, but it has a cooldown bar, but it fires as fast as its fire rate slows down the faster the more you shoot it. So you have to cool it down to keep it like at a steady, fast firing rate. And then there's the Mulcher, which is also back from the other years of War Games 2 and 3. Pretty much that's all the weapons. In the long shot, of course, that's my personal favorite weapon. The long shot I love. That's all the weapons. The new additions. They're all really cool to use. The Swarm are new enemies, and the DBs are not as fun to fight personally though as the Swarm. I like to fight them a lot better. They're a lot more challenging too. I'm gonna go on to the Horde mode. Talk about Horde 3.0, how the new additions to it and the like. So they brought back the how you can build bases and fortifications, and from Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 4. It's back, but there's a lot of new additions. There's something called the Fabricator, which is a box you can carry around. You can place it anywhere on the map to build a base. Well, it's not your actual base, but you could, place it wherever on the map that you can camp. A nice place to put it. And you use that to build fortifications and turrets, sentries, barriers, and everything like that. Decoys. You can also use it to build weapons too once it's leveled up, which is the next thing. Enemies that you kill don't just drop, they drop something called power, which you collect and put into the Fabricator to level it up. Well, you put it into the Fabricator you buy things to level it up, and once the Fabricator levels up, all the fortifications level up as well, up to 4 or 5 levels it is to make so it's like the maximum. They're really strong fortifications. However, unlike Gears of War 3, everything is not like permanently unlocked once you unlock it. It's like every session of Horde you start up, you have to like re-level up the Fabricator and stuff. Everything's started over, but it doesn't really matter because it adds to like replayability, and you also have to think of how you spend the money. You can't just buy boom shots and torque bows and all these fancy weapons, so you have to think about how to really this time around. The cool thing about Gears of War 4 3.0 is you have to really think about fortifications and stuff a lot more than Gears of War 3, which is really cool. There's also a class system for Horde. There's 5 classes. There's Soldier, which is basically like infantry. You start with a Lancer and a Gnasher. Heavy, you're like a heavy gunner. A Sniper, which is my class. I like long shot and marks. So you start with which is another precision weapon. I almost forgot to mention. Engineer, which the main focus of the engineer, of course, is to repair fortifications, and all their skills are related to that. Scout is the last one. They focus on like the main purpose of a scout class is like to focus on like melee, has like skills relating to meleeing enemies and upgrading that, and your health, your movement speed, your pickup area radius for the power. And there's also class skills that you can equip. There's 5 or 6 slots. Put skill cards in, and you can level up the skills to increase how effective they are in a session. The higher level you are, the maximum of each class is level 10. Once you reach that, like pretty much everything for the class is unlocked. All the skills and stuff. Well, the skills you have to get in gear packs, which I'll talk about after. I cover multiplayer. But and there's bosses return every 10 waves. There's new bosses based on the Swarm, and there's one DB boss, which is a Kestrel. It's a basically a attack chopper, autopilot on autopilot. And then there's really cool swarm bosses. There's a Swarmok, which is my favorite. Basically a Brumok that taken over by swarm control is a huge. It's really big. I'm not sure if it's bigger than the regular Brumok. It seems like it is sometimes, but at times. But it might just be my imagination.
Imagination.
All the bosses are really cool. They take each takes a different approach to beat. Kind of like, I mean, in Gears of War 3, you can pretty much gun down whatever. Like, you can just keep shooting at whatever boss. They all die like pretty much the same way, with the exception of maybe kind of the Berserkers, but that's really it. Everything else is they each take a new strategy to take them down. Like, for example, the Snatchers, like, if you get downed, the Snatchers capture a player and you have to shoot their exposed, like, weak area to free the player, and they get back up, which is cool. There's also an armored tank-like enemy, and their whole front is exposed. Only the shell opens when their weak spot is exposed, and you have to shoot their open weak spots. They also launch like these missile things that can hurt you. That's basically all of Horde mode. It's definitely it's class based, so it's really hard to play. It's actually near impossible to play by yourself. You need at least two or three people to like have a successful run through Horde. The difficulty is way harder than any other Horde before. In Gears of War 2 or 3, it's way harder. The enemies, especially the swarm actually more than the DBs. DBs are just, they're really not that hard, with the exception of maybe the snipers at higher waves, but that's really, and the sentinels, and maybe the shock trackers, which are these ball things that roll around and explode and shock. They also drop shock grenades, which are a new type of grenade in the game. But that's pretty much it for the Horde mode. Next is multiplayer, which introduces two new game modes. Arms Race, which is like Call of Duty's gun game. Probably gonna hear that reference a lot because that's just what it is. You start with the first weapon you start with. I know is the boom shot, and then it's all set. It's not randomized. It's like a set pattern every game. I don't know if that's going to change, but that's what it is. You start with the boom shot, then torque bow, then the drop shot, and then I'm not sure if the drop shot actually, but that's what it is basically. Call of Duty's gun game, and then also dodgeball, another new game mode, which is just kind of like team deathmatch, but the only difference is kind of like in the real game of dodgeball, if you throw the ball, you can tag somebody back in, but there's no ball, or literally anything. But if you get a kill, and one of your teammates is out, you can bring them back until all the enemy's players are all gone, and it's actually a really fun game mode. I enjoy it quite a bit. And then after that goes into the multiplayer, like the customization options, which is a huge thing about Gears of War 4, the customization. Now, here's the thing about the customization. It's probably the only thing about Gears of War 4 that really sucks. Microtransactions. There's these things called gear packs, which you buy pretty much exactly like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. You buy these gear packs for a chance to get either Horde class skills, bounties, which are challenges you can complete in either Horde or multiplayer for XP, or credits, which are the game's currency. You can earn credits through game matches and multiplayer and Horde, but it takes a long time to get enough for an elite pack, which is probably your best chance of getting anything rare, but even that is not guaranteed. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, I had to sell a legendary Nasher weapon skin card just so I could get my favorite character, Armored Baird, which really sucked, because I have no idea if I'm gonna ever get that weapon skin again now. I might never get it back, which sucks really, but that's how they made it. The microtransactions are a huge pain in the ass in this game. They really suck. And on top of that, the characters there's like not even that many characters unlocked from the start. There's like a few default ones. There's for the COG. There's JD, regular armored JD, armored Kate, armored Dell. Pre-order the game to get Old Man Marcus and Tomorrow Anya and Zombie Dom, which I thought that was okay at first, but that's another thing about the characters. The character skins. The character skins are just ridiculous. There's like Day of the Dead for every single character, which makes no sense at all. I don't understand why they wouldn't just put any of that. I get Halloween's coming up, I get that, but why not put it in just like a DLC pack? Why, like for character skins, weapon skins, why put that in the main game? It literally makes absolutely no sense. The Day of the Dead stuff and the zombie stuff, just like a zombie form of every character for some reason, or for every COG character, which I don't understand. And there's also Color Blast, which is basically a multicolored skin of any character, which looks absolutely ridiculous for any character. It's so stupid looking. It's really a really stupid thing. I don't understand why they didn't keep the unlockable character system from Gears of War 3. Like how you beat the campaign, you get like unarmored Marcus, or even in Gears of War 2, when you beat one of the chapters, you unlock Dizzy, or Ty. I don't understand all these characters they took out of the game. I hope they're gonna add them in, but even if they add them in, they're probably gonna be in gear packs. So it's like an if chance to get all these characters, which really sucks. I don't understand out of all the characters in Gears of War, how they took out everybody and put Day of the Dead Oscar and Day of the Dead. What is that? Nobody wants that. Nobody cares about that, because they're using the Gears of War name for money, basically. It's stupid. I read in a review somewhere that it might have been IGN or something, but it said, "Don't think this game is or it was AMP. It was AMP. I just read it actually recently, and it said, "Don't think this." One of the lines was, "Don't think this game is bogged down by microtransactions. You can earn credits in game by playing matches and stuff." Yeah, but it takes a long time. And what's the point? You could play a million matches for 10 freaking whatever gear packs, and it's and the chances of you getting anything you want are really next to zero, really next to none, honestly. Some huge spoilers that I'm not going to mention. Just play the game. I'm sure you'll enjoy the campaign, especially if you're a huge longtime fan of the series, and if you notice all the secrets in the game, in the campaign, which at the end, it's really cool, and I loved it. Horde's fun. I play it with my cousin and some other friends. It's fun. Definitely enjoyable. It's class-based, like I said, so it takes really cooperation to be successful. I have not beaten Horde yet, but because of the difficulty, but I've come close, wave 30, around there. The graphics in the game look great, amazing detail. It's definitely the best looking Gears of War game yet. You can definitely tell just by looking at it, starting up the campaign, that it's definitely next gen, which is a great thing to see. That they're stepping up, the graphics and stuff, and moving on with the times, which is good. Soundtracks, not that really engaging. It sounded to me like a lot of the tracks were reused in the game, in the campaign, which kind of sucked. So it didn't have the best soundtrack, but either. Yeah, but that's about it. So I give between an 8.5 and a 9. I give the game, and that's gonna be all, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review, and please tell me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please tell me your opinions and thoughts on Gears of War 4, the microtransactions, your thoughts, opinions, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Spoiler nerd out. What?
Belly.
The what?
You didn't hear me?
No.
The belly.
The what?
Get in my belly.